A dusty desert wind once carried a family banner farther than any army of its age. In less than a single lifetime, that banner, borne by the Umayyads, fluttered above Iberian fortresses, Persian plateaus, and African oases. Yet the very momentum that made their world-spanning empire also engineered its spectacular unraveling. Tonight we trace the pulse-pounding, heartbreaking odyssey of history's first Islamic world power. The Umayyads began not as emperors, but as shrewd merchants of the Banu Umayyah clan in Mecca. When the early Muslim community faced fierce pushback, Umayyad leaders initially resisted. But the conversion of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan turned a former rival into Islam's sharpest political strategist. He mastered Bedouin alliance building, weaving kinship networks across Arabia like taut bowstrings ready to launch. By 661 CE, after years of civil strife, Muawiyah ascended as caliph, moving the seat of power from Medina's modest streets to the busy ports of Syria. His genius was simple: merge desert honor culture with the administrative savvy of older empires, and you gain an engine primed for conquest. The opening crackle of possibility electrified tribes hungry for purpose. Caravans that once crawled between Red Sea harbors now felt the gravitational pull of something bigger, a civilization poised to sprint beyond the horizon. Imagine stepping into Damascus at dawn. Minarets rising like marble lighthouses over a labyrinth of markets, the air thick with frankincense, and scholars debating Greek texts beneath latticework balconies. Muawiyah chose this ancient Roman city as his capital precisely because it throbbed with cosmopolitan energy. He retained Byzantine tax officials, minted coins in a style locals trusted, and rebranded Roman roads as lifelines of a new Islamic empire. Damascus became a cultural centrifuge. Arab tribesmen tasted Levantine olives and heard church bells mingle with the sunrise call to prayer. This sensory fusion didn't erase identities, it layered them. By absorbing rather than erasing, the Umayyads surged ahead, drafting Syrian sailors, Iraqi scribes, and Egyptian architects into the same enterprise. Every milestone along those colonnaded streets whispered a promise. The empire is yours if you add your story to ours. Lightning danced across the Mediterranean in 711 CE when an ambitious Berber Arab force crossed at Gibraltar. Led by Tariq ibn Ziyad, they swept through Iberia's Visigothic courts with breathtaking speed. Meanwhile, in North Africa, governors like Uqba ibn Nafi carved camel-track highways from Tripoli to the Atlantic, founding Kairouan as a forward command. Each victory rolled out like drumbeats in a crescendo. Cordoba's whitewashed walls glowed under Arabic lanterns. Andalusian poetry sprouted beside Roman aqueducts. But expansion came at a cost. Indigenous Amazigh, Berber fighters felt pigeonholed beneath Arab commanders, sowing seeds of future revolt. Still, for a glittering moment, Iberian mountain echoes carried both the muezzin's cry and echoes of classical Latin verse, evidence that the Umayyad whirlwind had tied two continents into one cultural braid. While Western armies stalked the Atlantic, Eastern generals pierced the veils of Central Asia. Qutayba ibn Muslim's horsemen thundered through Bukhara and Samarkand, negotiating treaties as deftly as they swung scimitars. Farther south, Muhammad ibn Qasim's disciplined ranks entered Sindh, drawing Persian, Indian, and Arab worlds into a shared orbit for the first time. These campaigns weren't mere flag-planting exercises. They hacked open arteries for silk, spices, and astronomical knowledge to flow both directions. Caravanserais dotted dusty steps like stepstones, each one pulsing with multilingual chatter. Sogdian traders, Arab governors, and Hindu astronomers bartering charts of the night sky. Yet again, the Umayyad knack for flexible governance showed. Keep local elites in place, charge a land tax, and let ideas mingle. But distant provinces begot distant loyalties. The farther the empire stretched, the more invisible Damascus felt to borderland soldiers. The empire's mighty bow was bending toward its breaking point. Inside the Umayyad mosaic, one tile glinted brighter than others: Arab tribal nobility. They enjoyed stipends, access to the caliphal court, and a sense of inherited prestige. Non-Arab converts, Mawali, found the door to full equality jammed by cultural inertia. Though Islam preached unity, administrators often kept the jizya tax on newly converted Persians or Berbers, igniting quiet resentment. Even within Arab ranks, the Qais Kalb tribal rivalry simmered like coals beneath decorative carpets. Yet a surprising administrative modernity peeked out. The Diwan registry tracked soldier salaries, and Arabic replaced Greek and Persian in official correspondence, forging linguistic cohesion across continents. For millions, identity became a dance between faith, tribe, and bureaucracy, a choreography growing ever more complex. If the Umayyads had a love language, it was architecture. The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem shimmered with mosaics that rivaled Byzantium's finest, proclaiming Islamic artistry could stand on par with Rome's. In Damascus, the Great Mosque absorbed columns from the Temple of Jupiter, infusing ancient grandeur with rhythmic Quranic calligraphy. Even remote Moroccan Kasbahs adopted Syrian-style horseshoe arches, like postcards from the capital. Literature bloomed too. Poets such as Al-Farazdak wielded satire sharper than any scimitar, while scientists in Khurasan scribbled star catalogues that would later alter European astronomy. This cultural efflorescence proved that conquest was not merely about territory. It was about crafting a vision of beauty that could outlast swords. Empires often fracture where ideals clash with lived reality. In 680 CE, the tragedy at Karbala galvanized Shia opposition, embedding a spiritual chasm that politics could not bridge. Kharijite rebels splintered from both camps, preaching egalitarian fury. Meanwhile, the Berber revolt of 740 CE erupted across North Africa, rooted in economic grievances and ethnic pride. Every rebellion sounded the same thunderous refrain. The Umayyad promise of unity felt uneven in practice. Court life in Damascus glittered with silver goblets, while soldiers on distant frontiers waited months for pay. Trust cracked, and factional earthquakes rippled toward the heartland. By mid-8th century, a coalition of disgruntled Mawali, Shiites, and ambitious Arab families rallied behind the black banners of the Abbasids. In 750 CE, at the Battle of the Zab, Umayyad forces shattered. Damascus, once the empire's beating heart, fell under new rule. One prince, Abd al-Rahman, fled across land and sea to resurrect a fragment of Umayyad glory in Al-Andalus, transforming Córdoba into Europe's most luminous city. Yet the broader dream had ended. Like a supernova, the Umayyad Caliphate burned with spectacular brilliance, only to collapse into nebulae of successor states whose starlight still guides global culture. The Umayyads stitched Afro-Eurasia together with roads, scholars, and shared stories. They proved that an empire could thrive by absorbing difference until it drowned in its own contradictions. Cast your gaze on a map today. Arabic numerals, Andalusian music, and Damascus steel all echo their once mighty heartbeat. Their rise warns us how speed can uplift and unravel. Their fall reminds us that ideals require constant recalibration. If this whirlwind through deserts, domes, and distant horizons sparked your imagination, hit the like button, share the adventure, and subscribe for more gripping journeys through history's hidden corridors. Your support keeps our caravan moving forward.